Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jordan Kawachi, your host for tonight's show. And no, honey, it's not the Oscars. That was Sunday. This is Hollywood Lights. Now, for those of you who hadn't seen or cared to look up this year's Oscar nominees for Best Picture, let me tell you, it's a doozy. With almost every film in that category lasting at least 2 hours, you could almost make it through the DMV and even hit up Mickey D's afterwards. Now, don't get me wrong, the films are amazing, and there are some real heavy hitters this year, starting off with Life of Pi, based off of the reading material we all had to suffer through in school. It's been brought back to us. It's the story of a young man's journey after being shipwrecked, and spoiler alert, there is a tiger on the boat. And Silver Linings Playbook covers a different perspective, one about Bradley Cooper having anger management issues and Jennifer Lawrence as a slutty yet depressed widow whose paths cross and lead them to say more inappropriate things than appropriate ones. And to wrap it all up, there is Les Mis. Now, when I first was watching that film, I have to tell you, there was a time when I dreamed a dream in times gone by, when hope was high and life worth living. Don't worry, I know I'm tone deaf, so I'm not going to put you through any more of that song. Enough about this year's Oscars, though. Let's get on with the show and meet our panelists. First up tonight, the sweetest thing to walk the red carpet, Katie Lepelholtz. Next is Winston McWirt. He's the same kind of sexy you know and love. And lastly, she is Gone with the Wind fabulous. It's Lauren Gust. Now let's start the show. So tonight's first topic is best and worst hosts of the Oscars. This year's host was Seth MacFarlane, and well, let's not stick on him. Let's look to the past. A couple years ago, Anne Hathaway and James Franco, they hosted the Oscars together. Now, in the commercials, they were looking really good, but I gotta say, they were dead when it came to the show. What do you guys think?
I don't know, I was kind of disappointed because like what you were saying, how the commercials made it look like it was going to be super funny. And I mean, he and his brother, like both the Franco brothers, are really pretty to look at, but I just felt like there was nothing else there. He was just kind of...
What's wrong with being pretty to look at? I mean, I enjoyed it, and if you turn it on mute, it's just a nice show.
It's the same thing.
He didn't seem very charmed, though, so I think he probably just wasn't comfortable with, like, don't they have scripts? Don't they have, like, loose host scripts? He doesn't do so hot with those generally, because wasn't he also...
So the whole reading the script thing is...
Well, I don't think he reads it. He probably just didn't know what it was.
And Anne seemed to be overcompensating for that very fact. She just... Was it just me, or did she seem she was trying too hard?
Well, she was nervous.
I think she was kind of freaking out because where'd James go, and now she's kind of...
Exactly. One-woman show.
I'd probably get a little jumpy, too. I mean, if someone was just sitting next to me,
I thought my
I got
was going into a coma, I'd try to revive him a little bit.
I still think it was a bit. That's I think they did it on purpose, or at least one of them did it on purpose.
I don't know, but I mean, I think you can probably get worse than that. How about when Rob Lowe, he's not a singer or anything, he's just a normal actor, sang with Snow White, like dressed out in full costume in the Grammys. Like, why? I don't get it.
That was the year that they had no host.
That was the same year.
Yeah, so I don't know, that was kind of a double negative to me, which did not make a positive at all, because you had no host, so it was just kind of, what's going on here? And then you have Rob Lowe singing.
On a side note, Disney did not actually know that Snow White was going to be appearing.
I thought he was good.
You listen to music very often, or?
I thought he was good. But Hugh Jackman hosted once, and I'm going to say that when he's not acting, he seems really humble, and that's better. So I prefer the host situation for him, at least. So
because you're saying he's humble.
He feels humble in like in interviews and host situations. He doesn't have like the face. Like I don't even know how to, he doesn't.
The Wolverine.
Yeah, he doesn't Wolverize, and he doesn't woo anyone, and he's got a cute British accent, and suddenly.
He's Australian.
It's Australian.
I don't know
Gotta
anything about
take
Hugh
that on
Jackman.
Australian.
I've seen him a lot though.
But on his host position, he also did a musical number, which I thought was spectacular. I mean, they hadn't had one for years, and to say his number was just, it was just very entertaining.
Is he in anything else where he sings?
He was in Les Mis, wasn't he?
Les Mis, and then
That's recently, yeah.
I'm sorry, but it looks like we're gonna have to cut to Bruce.
So let's talk best and worst dress at the Oscars over the past couple years. First off, we're gonna start with the best. Hilary Swank in the G. LaRoche blue dress. All I can say is baby got back and she is letting it out in this one. All I can think is blue dabba dee dabba damn, girl. Next we got Gwyneth Paltrow in the Tom Ford cloak dress, I like to call it. Looking like a tall glass of milk. Girl, I would drink you down. Pause. Next, we got Jessica Alba in the Versace dress. Speechless. She's gorgeous. Now, some of the worst dress, we have Tilda Swinton in the Lon Van Death Eater dress, looking straight out of Harry Potter. Man, she looks like one of the Weasleys went to the dark side on that one. And next, we have Bjork wearing the Marion Peyowski swan dress. Man, I feel so bad for her. They must have just went on a wild goose chase to find that dress and pushed her on the runway and ducked off, because that was all bad. If I see any of you guys wearing that, you're ending up on this show, Hollywood or not. Back to you, Jordan.
Thanks, Bruce. Next up, we have embarrassing moments. Let's see. Melissa Leo, when she was giving her acceptance speech in 2010, she ended up cussing. It started off, since watching Kate Winslet, it looks so, no, I'm not allowed to say that word on cable, easy. So she ended up cussing, and it ruined the whole night.
I don't even want to talk about
Too
it.
fragile.
It's
fragile.
way too upsetting.
Too upsetting.
For me to even
Super
talk
frowned
about.
upon. The other one that's kind of frowned upon is Adrian Brody. Back however many years ago, he surprise beat everyone for his movie, The Pianist, right? And so, and Halle Berry was the one presenting the award. And so he goes up on stage. No one else saw it coming that he would even win. And so in his reaction, I guess he didn't really have it prepared, because he ran up on stage and just grabs Halle Berry and just kisses her. Like full on.
Because that's your normal reaction.
What would you do?
Not that.
If it was a male host, though, would you still kiss him?
How many other
think so.
chances? How many other chances do you get? Halle Berry, I mean.
I feel like if you're at the Oscars, you're pretty.
It
up there.
depends
You
on
can-
how famous you are. I mean,
Right.
if you're talking like
I'd never
3
heard of him
Oscars,
before.
I'd probably be more okay with it.
Well, no, now that's
Oscar,
the
like-
underdog charm. It wouldn't have been okay if he was. And if he waited, isn't how like something happened to Halle Berry? I can't remember what it was, but now that's not okay. But it was. I think it was okay now.
But see, now
at
they're
the
known
time.
for it, and it's famous, and so I just go with it.
I'd never heard of him until.
Does anyone
tonight.
think of Adrian Brody as that guy who kissed Halle Berry? I don't think they do.
Okay.
I don't like him at all.
You have a point. But
Okay.
I think one of my favorite moments is, hold on a second. Can we all have a moment of silence for the people that were lost in the Titanic?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, see how awful does that make you feel? And so imagine doing it in front of the thousands of people.
Wasn't that the
Goodness.
point?
In the
That was
audience.
that was in the 90s, and ever since then, James Cameron has slowly become his own money. Like, and
I can
every
see it.
Academy Award, and every time he makes a movie over 3 hours long, Academy Award.
It just
I'm
comes with the
unsettled.
territory.
Favorite part of Titanic: Leonardo DiCaprio dies, and I'm checking out, dropping the mic.
And you
That's
just
horrible.
spoiled.
Seen
What
that.
about all these people that have not seen the Titanic?
But if you haven't
I
seen
have not
it,
seen
really?
the Titanic.
Really?
Really.
Oh,
really,
wow.
really.
Well,
That's
All right,
over
we're gonna
the
have to have a
move
viewing
away
party.
Let's
from
go.
this
Okay, we're gonna
topic
Talk about
now.
Sacha Baron Cohen as El Presidente throwing ashes all over Ryan Seacrest.
I would have had a
I get
fit.
angry just hearing about it.
Oh God, my money.
How do you really roll with that on
how is it
Easily,
camera?
I'm
right
not.
now?
Well,
There's ashes
one,
on me.
I'm all for
Cool.
Ryan Seacrest being a better sport because
Ryan Seacrest is
I know
Ryan.
you
If I were-
specifically.
If I were to take out a thing of ashes from under this table and just said, "Hey, Winston,"
If they were actually Kim Jong Il's, I would think that was awesome.
okay, well, the point is that they weren't. Okay,
Whose
actually,
were
that's
they?
not the point.
What if it was an honor? What if that was his grandma he wanted
sand
to
or
hang?
whatever.
Who brings
That's not
their
the point. The
grandma
point is
in an urn to
Right,
the
and
Oscar?
I feel like the grandma.
Sacha Baron Cohen. El Presidente.
But if I just took that, you wouldn't be mad at me at all.
It's an honor to have ashes thrown on you, I feel like.
On a side note, I am very impressed that he sticks with his characters so often. Like, he is dedicated to those people. Like, it's just amazing.
Is he a method actor?
I think
like how
possibly.
hardcore one, or just an ironic
But
method actor?
hey, let's bring it on in and send it over to Bruce for some musical interest.
Let's take a look at some of the best original song winners at the Oscars. First, we have Lose Yourself by Eminem. In 2002, everybody loved that song at 8 Mile. The only problem is some of us lost our appetite for spaghetti. I don't know about you, but I want that on my shirt. Next, we have a classic by Celine Dion in 1997, My Heart Will Go On. That's one of those songs that come on Pandora and you're like, damn, this is depressing. But you gotta listen to it. It's Celine, it's classic. Next, we got Hard Out Here for a Pimp in 2005 by 3 6 Mafia. Is it a surprise that the person that wrote this song wrote, bands and make a dance, bands and make a dance? But speaking of pimps, let's go right back to you, Jordan.
Oh, Bruce. Alrighty, so next up we have Best and Worst Award Moments. So I want to start us off talking about Return of the King. Yes, Lord of the Rings. Some may not be fans, some may be diehard fans, but let's just say that in 2004, they were just winning everything left and right. And it really was a first for the sci-fi and fantasy genre in general.
The birth of CGI specifically, which I think it's a Hollywood power play where they're just like, hey, you know what direction we should take movies? CGI. And then they did.
I think they deserved it, though. I mean,
It's a fine movie.
and it's once again one of those like 3-hour movies. It's gotta have an Oscar.
And
So they
3-hour
deserved
movies
it
get an
because
Oscar.
if you take the time to put a movie together
The-
that's 3 hours long, I think you
The
deserve an
director's
Oscar.
cut was like, wasn't that like 3 hours and
3 to
40
4,
minutes?
something.
Like it was a
Almost
long,
4
it was a
hours.
long movie.
Time, unnecessary
was.
long.
I liked it. I liked, what's his name? I should know. Elijah.
Legolas.
No.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Actually used his look-alike in that one that he found in the prior movie after.
So, but with some of like the upset awards though. So when Avatar came out, most expensive movie ever in movie history, and everyone thought that Avatar was going to win an Oscar. But that year, director Catherine Bigelow, who I'd never heard of, she did this kind of an indie film, low budget, called The Hurt Locker, and she got 2 Oscars for that, and one was for Best Director. And so it was total upset because everyone expected James Cameron to get that. Like you're
That
saying,
was
he makes
his
his own.
ex-wife,
Everyone,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and
the
that was his
ex-wife.
ex-wife.
That's
And
a
so
low blow right
yeah,
there.
it's like
It's a good thing
I
they're
didn't know that.
divorced though, because I mean, imagine going home to that. Like,
The dinner
Well, no,
table
that's
right
that's
there.
the joke. He wouldn't be going home. to that.
Exactly.
Right, so
That's
I
why
think it's
they're
kind of
not
like a personal victory. She's probably holding her head a little high.
Maybe it's just another Hollywood power play for feminism. It's just going that direction.
No, I know what it is. They were just like, James Cameron, he's won enough movies. He had the Titanic, whatever.
We feel bad for
We're
the
gonna get
ex-wife. She's
back
gone
at
through
him.
a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
So
also
here,
because
Catherine-
ratings, they've been going down. They've been wanting to get better. How do you do it more than to like defame James Cameron, who's like on his giant
On
dollar
his little
cloud
pedestal.
somewhere?
They
But-
need those upsets. It's how they keep the Oscars going.
Why? I mean,
Upsets and scenes.
if there were no
Gwyneth
upsets, we
Paltrow.
wouldn't be talking about it. But Gwyneth Paltrow.
She
I
was
mean,
upset. We'll talk about how she was upset.
A little too upset. I mean,
She was just
pull it
She
together.
was happy, but there was so much sobbing that I just couldn't tell. It was so awkward to watch. But she should have taken cue from Sandra Bullock. I mean, she would have had to time travel. But a few years ago, when The Blind Side came out and Sandra Bullock gave her acceptance speech, she was just so classy and put together and just funny and all Sandra Bullock-y. So Gwyneth should have taken some.
Alrighty, it looks like we're gonna have to pull it back in. If you'd like to check out an exclusive online-only Bruce segment, follow the link below. Thanks for tuning in.